I'm really excited today. Not only am I excited, gang, that I don't actually have to talk a lot today, and you're welcome. You don't have to listen to me today, but I'm really excited about our partnership with Xima. So I'd like to introduce John Florence. He will be taking over today's presentation because we're going to leave this one to the experts. So, John, I will let you fully introduce yourself. I'll just be your hype girl. We will be taking questions via the chat, so feel free to ask them. John and I kind of operate the same way. As you guys know, I like to, if it's relevant to what we're doing right now, we're going to maybe answer the question on the spot. John's already given me permission to do that. But, I'm very, very excited to introduce Xima, our CCaaS partner. And John, I'm going to let you take it from here and I'll be quiet.
Awesome. Thanks, Jamie. And hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I'm traveling, but didn't want to miss this at all. So just a little introduction to myself, just so you know, okay, who's John Florence? My name's, again, John Florence. I'm the Senior Vice President of Industry Solutions. So basically, I've been in the telecom space, the contact center space, pretty much my entire career, which just passed my 20-year mark. Spent the last 12, almost 13 years with Xima, with various different roles. I love the telecommunications space. I love the contact center space, and I'm excited to show you exactly how we can augment and enhance the Netsapiens platform, and where you can really go after different types of customers, same customers, increase your stickiness with them, increase your growth with them. And so you're providing all the different feature functionality that they need to adjust as the market changes. Okay, so I think I might have accidentally deleted my agenda slide. So we're going to really focus on the agenda that was in the platform. So I'm going to give you an overview. Again, this is an introduction training into what Xima CCaaS is, and really how to position CCaaS. Because if you go to a lot of customers, they're not going to consider themselves a contact. So we'll go over, okay, how should I talk about this with my customers? What type of customers should I focus on? How does it, again, augment the Netsapiens platform? It's a really tight integration where it feels like a single solution. And that's going to really help you beat the competition. And I'll kind of show you and explain how that works and why it's phenomenal. We'll then go over, creative ideas of how to talk about this with your customers, how to increase that ARR. And I have some really good use cases of customers on Netsapiens that added this CCaaS solution. So that's the agenda we're going to go over here today. Quick introduction to Xima CCaaS. This is a service. So there's no, just like Netsapiens, there's no hardware or software that you have to download and install. We're going to host this. And where we host it is in Google Kubernetes. Why does that matter? We do have customers that sometimes they have different offices and branch locations in different regions throughout the world. And so you can position this really anywhere, and we'll just install it in the closest geographical Google data center to where your customer resides. We then piggyback on the resiliency and the redundancy and the security of Google. We do have all the security compliances that your customers need: SOC 2, ISO, PCI, HIPAA, technically GDPR. And your customers can actually download those audit reports. So some customers, they need that for that internal review process. We make that available. Now, this is really going to enhance that customer experience. That's the whole focus of this. Don't think of it as necessarily CCaaS or contact center, but enhance the customer service. And think of it as almost like an upgrade to their current environment. You can do a lot with the Netsapiens call center. Okay. In fact, I think Jamie did a training on that just a few weeks ago. This is kind of that next step up. They don't really have to rip and replace anything. It just upgrades that experience. The agents can use the same phones they're using today, the physical phones, the soft phones, whether they're, it's the Snap mobile app or it's an Acrobat soft phone, or they can use our WebRTC soft, okay, which is great for those customers using that multi or omni-channel experience. It provides inter-office dialing between the office, the UC, and contact center. Now, that should sound like a given, right? It's not. There's so many customers out there where they have, a different phone system and then a different contact center, like a Genesis or a Five Nines. And those two aren't really integrated very well, which causes some disruption for that experience to the customer. It also makes it much more difficult to manage from a customer perspective. That's the first way you're going to beat the competition with this platform. It really does integrate really well. It's a tight integration. I'll show you some of those details. Now, from a license perspective, we designed this so you can sell the different licenses that matter to your customer. We really kind of have two core licenses, basic and professional. Basic is an enhancement to the voice agent. I want better reporting. I want better wallboards. I want more skills-based routing options. That's going to be your basic or voice agent license. The professional is that multi-channel, voice, web chat, email, SMS. You then can add any of the advanced applications that we offer. Workforce optimization, workforce management, speech analytics, CRM integration, which works with 250 plus different CRMs. The big ones are all there: Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, HubSpot, Zoho, Zendesk, just to name a few. But our CRM, it really just deploys out of the box. And it gives a lot of the same core features that customers want for CRM: screen pop, click to dial, activity logging, address book, and caller preview. So they know who's calling in based off their CRM before they even answer it, regardless of what caller ID shows. So some really phenomenal options there. And again, you can mix and match the licenses. The core licenses, basic and professional, they are concurrent based licenses. So technically, you can license everybody on the platform. But if you have 10 agent licenses, it just allows 10 people to log in concurrently. You will notice at the bottom, supervisor licenses are free. We did that by design. So many of the other solutions out there charge for supervisor licenses. So what do customers do? They restrict that access. They only want to license the main people. In a lot of companies, there's one supervisor. And so they just have one person trained. The problem that creates is, well, turnover happens at the agent level and management level. So manager leaves, no one knows how to run the contact center anymore. That can open up the possibility, well, like, hey, maybe we explore getting a new option. We never want that to happen. And so how we avoid that is just give as many supervisors as you want licenses. So that way, if one person leaves, you're not hitting the reset button. It's like, oh, this person also knows it as well. Let's just have them take over until we backfill that management position. Okay. Now, why specifically for Netsapiens? We've been doing this for a long time. We've sold this on top of Netsapiens. These are the top 3 reasons why partners, much like yourself, have told me why they've lost customers. Either net new deals, they were competing against another solution, or they had a customer and then they just lost that customer for whatever reason. I actually got an email about it yesterday. We were just a little too late with the partner. The customer decided to move on to a different solution, and it was actually because of better reporting and contact center needs. So better reporting. You can do quite a bit with the reports out of Netsapiens, but what if you need a little bit more? Some big, really good use cases is reporting on like the reason codes, account codes, being able to redefine values. You can add abandoned calls to the reports, but what's the definition of an abandoned call? What if you don't agree with the definition? That's where Xima comes in. You can adjust all of that very easily. You can then add on the additional contact center features. Typically, it's voice plus something, voice plus multi-channel, or voice plus workforce optimization, or speech analytics, or CRM. They're looking for more than comes out of the box. And sometimes that can affect a small department, which can impact an entire business. I actually have a use case that I'll share with you today. Customer had 17 agents. The whole site was 270 users, but they needed more features for those 17 agents. So they were ready to drop the Netsapiens platform, and they were looking at TalkDesk. They were looking at Genesys. The partner brought us in. We showed them the contact center and how it's a simple, easy upgrade, then rip and replacing the whole thing. They signed. And I'll talk more about that a little bit later. And so that held on to 280 plus seats for 17 agents. And that's the other area we'll shine with you. You don't have to be experts in contact center. Think of us as an extension to your team. We're happy to help with demos. We're happy to help with designs, quotes. Our team's also standing by for that support and installation. Of course, you can be involved as much as you want, but our team provides turnkey deployments. We treat every customer with that white glove treatment. It is designed around our customer success program. And in the next training, again, sign up for that. I'll talk more about that because that is one of our key differentiators. I get on with customers that are on big name contact centers, 5 nines, 8x8, nice in contact. And they're looking for another solution. I'm like, these are, Gartner Magic Quadrant contact centers. Why are you looking somewhere else? They've had a bad support or bad implementation process from day one. They can't get the data that they need. And so it doesn't matter if it can do all those things. If the customer can't use it, it's like it doesn't exist. Our team ensures that doesn't happen.
Awesome.
Now, go ahead. Is there a question?
No, I just said that's awesome.
It is awesome. And you'll see these use cases. We do compete against those top competitors, and this enables you guys to just beat them. And I'll show you here in a few seconds, well, a few minutes maybe, how awesome that integration is. But some of you, I hear this a lot from partners. A lot of our customers just aren't a contact center. I hear that a lot in the industry. Don't focus on contact center. Focus on customer service. Think of your customers. Do they have any type of customer service or department? These are the top 5 challenges from 2023, according to Forbes, that customer service environments deal with on a day-to-day basis. Customer satisfaction, agent productivity. What's the right technology to solve these problems? I get on with customers where they have like 5 different solutions. And so the management team is managing 5 separate systems that aren't talking to one another to solve those 2 problems up above. The reality is CCaaS solutions are designed to solve for customer satisfaction, agent productivity. And so it's the right technology stack. And then you have the accuracy and the data tracking within your CRM or within our platform. So you have everything you need. And then communication. Obviously, the world has changed since 2020. Hybrid work environment, it's very real. It's not going away. And so companies are constantly wondering, okay, is my employee at home working? Are they in the office working? How do those 2 employees talk with one another? How do they communicate? And if you layer on top a contact center solution, sometimes, again, they're disparate systems. And so from a data tracking and accuracy, that goes out the window. And then I've heard stories of customers where they're like, oh yeah, if I have to transfer to the contact center, it's a 10-digit number. Well, how do they transfer it back to you? Another 10-digit number, and they go through the auto tenant. It's a timely process. It's not easy to communicate and provides a poor customer satisfaction. So again, CCaaS is the solution for these. Communication, again, this integrates really tightly. I'll show you right after this slide how tight that integration is. UC and CC. But from a customer satisfaction, I like to tell people, meet the customer where they are. I talk more about this in our next training on the 29th, so come to this. But multi-channel communications is the answer for this. So providing SMS, web chat, email, all to a single interface. Let the customer come to you the way they want. I've been in the industry 20 years. I grew up with phones. I still prefer text. If I can text someone, it's so much easier because I'm constantly on meetings like this, which I love doing. But then that makes it hard for me to also communicate with people. But if I have texting, it makes it a lot easier because sometimes I have just a couple minutes in between calls or meetings and I can just text back. The agent retention and productivity is a big challenge as well. According to Forbes, in customer service roles and in sales roles, 2 really high, very important roles within businesses. They're the highest in the market with retention, where they'll lose high productivity agents. It's like 78%. It's a really high problem within those organizations. The solution to that, automation, AI, which comes with workforce optimization, speech analytics, workforce management. But again, having that license model where you can, what I call crawl, walk, run. You go to a customer today and they are what I'll call a basic call center, and you try to throw AI at them, it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be too much. So let's take them up to that next tier. Let's start giving multiple channels. Let's give them some other tools to improve that customer experience and then throw AI at it. I've seen too many customers where they get rid of their AI solution because they're like, oh, it's just really expensive and we didn't get a lot out of it. It's because they weren't quite ready for it when they rolled it out. And so that crawl, walk, run approach works great with the customers. Again, the cradle to grave reporting is where you're going to shine with customers. And I've talked about it too much. I want to show you what I mean here. So If you've never seen the Xima CCaaS solution, this is the interface here. You have your management portal. Now it's a tight integration with, again, Netsapiens. So it's going to pull over all the users from Netsapiens. I have just a small little lab here with 4 users, but you're going to see all the different people within the organization, and we can report on just employees, and then we can also license them with a contact center. So this gives true cradle to grave reporting on every interaction. Okay. It also has a seamless call flow. Now, how agents are going to answer that, again, is depending on their phone. So here is our agent phone. Over here on the left, I've got a web chat communication going on. And so we're going to provide that web chat plugin for the customer. So all they have to do is just plug it into their website. They can insert their color scheme, their logos, their agent images if they want, and then they can just type back and forth. And I'll say, hi, everyone. Okay. I can end this chat as an agent if I want to. I can save the chat session. The agent's, of course, going to see that as well, and they're going to see it's ended. They can view that history. They can tag notes and account codes, or I can come over here and address my email. We can have emails come across to this. If there are attachments in there, I could do that. I could add my own attachments. I can CCC, BCC, and I'll be like, thanks for watching today. So I can handle all those same communications from here, but let's talk about the phone calls. I'm going to go ahead and put this in a do not disturb state.
Hey, John, I think there's a question, but hey, Carl, you gonna put your question in the chat? I see you raised your hand, unless that just means you really like it. You're giving me the woo-woo.
High fives.
But you want to put a question in the chat for John?
Yeah, just throw it in there. I'll watch it here in the next few minutes. Thank you, Jamie, for watching that.
You're welcome.
So let me show you these reason codes. This is a big reason why people have added us onto Netsapiens, because it's a customizable list. So you can come in here and select, oh, you know what? I'm doing a webinar demo. That's now visible to all the agents as well as the supervisor. So in the supervisor view, you have control over those agents. So you can come in here, you can customize these values and displays to really show whatever it is that you want. And there you can see, oh yeah, John, he's in a do not disturb webinar state, and it's tracking that time. If you're familiar with the Netsapiens soft phone, right here, I'll just slide this over, because again, this just shows one of those good use cases why customers have brought us in. In here, you can do those reason codes. Agents can set their appropriate states of, oh, I might not be licensed as an agent on this soft phone. That's okay. You all know what those reason codes are, but you can't really report on them. Can't really see them. So this is a great solution to solve that problem. If supervisors want, they can do the call monitoring. They can listen, whisper, barge into the agent's calls, or they can take them out of those states. They can log them in and out. They can log them in and out of their different channels. They can log them in and out of their different skills. And there, well, I got my out of office message that I have on right now because I'm traveling. So I'll just mark that one as complete. That's fine. So it gave me an auto reply. Good old hotel Wi-Fi there. That's okay. It'll still work. But I'm going to place a call into queue. Okay. This is going to come through the Netsapiens auto attendant. So again, it's a very seamless transition taking them from the Netsapiens call center to the Xima call center. It's still utilizing the same auto attendants, but then we're going to track that from a cradle to grave perspective and give that visibility. You can see it in real time, and you can customize these displays to display virtually any value that you want. You can brand them to match your brand or the customer's brand. Okay, so again, what metrics, KPIs, SLAs matter to the customers, that's what you can customize. And this is second to none. This is better than anyone else in the market, how customizable this is. But as an agent, I make myself available. Now, in this scenario, I'm going to just answer it via my WebRTC soft phone. I'm using it for my chats, my SMS, my texting. It can also link this to a call scripting tool if that's something that your customers are looking for. So if they want to have knowledge bases and different questions that they can answer, or they can just utilize that soft phone. But as I mentioned, that inter-office communication. Well, I'm a contact center agent. Oh, I need to send this over to a non-contact center. And you can put it on hold, or you know what, I'm going to transfer it. I can transfer it over to other agents, other queues, other departments, or to any extension or dialable number. I'll send that to that Netsapiens user and I'll just do a blind transfer. Important details here. So here's that call. One, you'll notice it's got the original caller ID. Sounds like a small thing that you would expect comes with any contact center. Doesn't happen a lot. So that way, if you transfer it from contact center to UC, you still see the customer. Oh, okay, yeah, I can see the original customer. And I actually can see that option one. That's the button they pressed in the auto attendant to get here. And I can now do whatever I need to as a Netsapiens user. If I need to transfer this back to the contact center, again, a 3-4-digit extension dial. But I'll go ahead and end that call, because what that's going to do is it's going to log it all here in our reports and in our cradle to grave platform. So if I were to run this today, all those interactions, I mean, there's the call I just finished. You just saw me do it. It's already in the database. Came into the auto attendant. Which auto attendant? Okay, which queue did it go to? Oh, they talked. John put it on hold, talked. Oh, and then you did a blind transfer over here to John Florence. And then John Florence, again, it's ironic on both in this scenario, but you can see it left the contact center. Now it's just with the office worker, talk, put it on hold, talk. You're going to see if they put it on park. Here, I think I did this call this morning, put that on park. And all of your recordings, whether it's an office worker or a contact center user, live in this same interface. So you can come in here, listen. Let me get rid of that refresh. There, I got a new version of this. Run it again. If I want those recordings, it's just over here on the right-hand side. It opens it up. It has a wave view form so you can see when there's talk and there's silence. You can click and drag play. You can see notes. You can add notes as a supervisor. There's a lot you can do. We keep the historical data as long as the customer has the service. So if you were to deploy this to a customer tomorrow, 5 years from now, they would still have all the same reports, cradle to grave details, which they can then run all the different reports that they want. What is it they want to see? Abandoned calls in the phone system in the contact center, they have it. They want to see their different agents or office workers, they can see that as well. All in the same reports. There's my agent, there's my office phone. So that's why I don't have any login duration. I'm not logging into the contact center, but I'm still making calls. If you want to see those multi-channels, you can have it. Or the time-based reports. But here's where customers love the solution. They just love it. Is, well, John, well, what's your definition of a missed call? I get that one a lot. What's your definition of abandoned call? Every customer's different. Well, they can just come up here and edit it. All right, let's customize it to what you want it to be. What's your definition? You can come in here and just add your different values. There's all of our defaults. So if, again, you don't agree with our definition of abandoned call, all right, let's just come in here, customize it. Let's add in the criteria that matters to you. You want to report on abandoned calls by specific phone numbers, you can do that. By call durations or details, you can do that. You just add your details in there and save it to the reports, and you now have your definition. You can do that same thing in the real-time wallboards. You can customize these, as mentioned, to match your brand that you want to sell to the customers, or you can throw your customer's logo on there. It's really up to you. You can do a lot with the solution. And so again, that just works. Everything really out of the box. You just connect to your customer's tenant on Netsapiens. It's that simple. So customers are up running quickly. Just adjust the auto attendants to go from the Netsapiens queues over to the Xima queues, and you're off to the races. Customers are getting the reports they want, the wallboards they want. They can start doing the different channels and route the different emails, SMS, web chats the way that they want. Okay. So again, this is an intro to Xima. I don't want to go too much into that, but let me give you some other details about the solution. Again, I kind of just talked about in a demo what features complement Netsapiens. We talked about the better reporting, probably ad nauseum, some of the specific use cases that I get a lot from partners, those reason codes, those account codes. We log all those with inside of Xima. We also have additional queue callback options. I didn't go into that, but we can prioritize different queues. We can call the customers back at different times. We can call them back as many times as they want if they don't answer. They can then add on those advanced applications like speech analytics, quality management, workforce management, things that you may not think apply to your customer, but do. I had one partner said the same thing. Oh, John, we don't have a lot of customers that are our contact center. What's happening in the market, if you've competed against these, Dialpad, Zoom, and Ring Central, they're leading with speech analytics. They're out there producing a lot in marketing dollars to push their different speech analytics tools. And that's drawing a lot of attention from customers. So don't let them poach your customers or go draw interest in customers and your customers leave because they don't know that these features are available. Okay. And again, we compete with those, and I'll go over next time more into those advanced applications so you can get a better dive into what those have to offer. But it's priced right. It provides all the feature functionality that your customers are looking for. Or again, a big use case is the multi-channel, especially SMS. A lot of phone systems, UC systems, can provide SMS, but it's not really designed for contact center SMS. You know, queuing the different SMS groups to the right destination based off the phone number, or retaining those SMS for reports, or passing on additional information to the agents. If one agent's, I respond to a customer and then I log out, that customer replies back. A lot of platforms that just stays with that user. Ours, oh no, that'll requeue and go to the next agent available. So that way the customer's not waiting if people take PTO or vacation. We also have other really tight integrations with other, again, CRMs, MS Teams, and EHR. I do want to touch on the MS Teams real briefly here, because you all probably deal with customers that have Teams. And there's a lot of different details as it relates to Microsoft Teams. So what did we do that your customers are going to love that you can then promote? One, it's got single sign-on with Microsoft. So when I log in at Microsoft, it automatically logs me in my agent ID. It then is also embedded inside the client. That's cool. A lot of people do that. We took it a step further. Well, you can make yourself available in the Xima contact center, but you can also make yourself available or unavailable within Microsoft Teams. We have that bi-directional presence. So if I make myself busy here, that's going to make me busy in the contact center. And it's going to log the different reason codes from Teams. It also logs and makes them unavailable when they get on a Teams meeting. So if this were like a Teams bridge, it logs that. That's really valuable for customers, especially that are remote, where they're like, I want to know what they're doing all day. Because we log those details as well, just to show it real quick. Oh, how many MS Teams meetings did they get in? 19. How much time did they spend in them? Average time. How much time they go in a busy state on Teams, or be right back. So again, there's a lot of different ways in that Microsoft integration that people can use that. We took it a step further to log the details that they're doing in Microsoft as well. And they don't have to be using direct routing. This, if they're a Microsoft shop with all the different Microsoft licenses available, they don't need E5, and you have Netsapiens as the phone system, that's fine. That's exactly what I'm using here in this environment. So if I were to take that call right now, same one I just did, I call that IVR. We'll go into that tier 1 queue. I'm just going to now answer it with inside of Teams. And it also has a little thin client that runs down here. That's presenting to my other agent ID. So we'll let that miss. And the greetings, the announcements, you can control that experience. What does that mean for the customer? It'll log me out of my other queue or agent ID, and then I'll transfer over here in a few seconds. There it is. And now I'm just going to answer it here. And I'm not doing everything in this cell phone. Okay, so a little bit on that Teams integration, because that's big. If you're in the healthcare space, it's awesome. Like, a lot of customers, when they see it, they're like, okay, it's not just the embedded client. A lot of people do the embedded client. We wanted to take it a couple steps further so it really feels exactly like what it says here, an integration. And I haven't seen anyone else doing that. So if you do know of other people that are logging those details and have that bi-directional presence and logs it, let me know. Love to know who else is doing it out there. But right now, it's been a nice key advantage for us. We also did similar things with healthcare. We integrate with 75 different healthcare or EHR, EMR platforms, so like Epic, Athena, just to name a couple. eClinical Works. Those are probably the big three that I hear the most, but there's 75. So big reason for CCaaS. Why CCaaS? In the UC space, and you probably are seeing this in the market as well, it is feeling like a race to zero on the UC side. Customers are constantly just being like, okay, how affordable can I get my unified communications? That's why Teams is having such a big push right now, because people are seeing it as like, oh, I just need to add a little bit to my licenses, and then I have the UC. Now, you all probably know how to sell against that. Well, it doesn't include minutes. It doesn't include any of the other features that comes with a platform like Netsapiens. But it doesn't mean that they're still trying to drive down that price. I've, again, competed against the likes of like a RingCentral or a Dialpad. On the UC seats, they get really aggressive. which is probably making it hard for you as a business to maintain your business and, more importantly, to grow it. So the solution is CCaaS, because what I don't see in the market is those competitors or those solutions doing that to CCaaS or to contact center. In fact, a lot of them will keep it at their MSRP, maybe a 5% discount, 10. They don't drop it because that's where there's still a lot of revenue to be made. And a lot of times, in like the example I shared, can impact a 280 seat deal by just ensuring that you take care of the 17 agents. So CCaaS is a great way to drive that revenue. Let me give you some good use cases here. Customer Pixel Care. They were on Netsapiens, and they originally were on the Netsapiens call center. They added the voice contact center. So the partner sold them our voice contact center. So that increased it a little bit. But again, don't assume your customers aren't thinking about other features. They met with our customer success team, and they admitted, oh, hey, you know what? We saw a demo from Nice in Contact. Well, probably know the name. And they asked them, well, what are you looking for? Is there something we're not giving you that you're looking for? And they're like, yeah, we're really looking to enhance our contact center solution with workforce optimization, but more importantly, speech analytics. We also like the idea of rolling out additional channels. They were strictly voice. So then our customer success team got engaged, got on with the partner, got on with our team, did a full demo, and were able to provide a whole solution. And during that discovery process, they also got intrigued by workforce management, which is forecasting and scheduling. They weren't ready for that, but that is a potential add-on, which would add on another $23,000. So that number you see at the top and the bottom, that is strictly contact center. But then more importantly, it allowed the partner to maintain their Netsapiens seats. Because if they would have just left, Nice in Contact was going after everything, not just the contact center. They were going to pull everything off. So it not only maintained the UC seats, but it added $32,000 to the billing for the year by giving the customers what they want. So again, a lot of great revenue for 55 agents. Let's give another use case. This is the one I talked about earlier. NextGrill. 17 agents, 280 seats on the Netsapiens platform. They were on TalkDesk, moved to Netsapiens. After using it for about 6 months, they realized this isn't quite giving us what we want. We need more and better SMS options, better web chat options. We also had workforce optimization and workforce management previously. We missed those features. And so they were going to the partner being like, hey, we either need an option or we are looking at other solutions. Going back to TalkDesk, we're also looking at Genesis. But in Genesis play, they would have still kept the UC seats on there. But again, the partner wouldn't got anything for the contact center. They engaged Xima, went through our customer success team, gave them references of customers that have done that, just like Pixel Care, upgraded their contact center environment to add these features. You can utilize our tools. Even though this solution might be new to you, we have customers that can be great references for yourself. How do you like the solution? We'll provide those. Follow our sales process. We were very engaged with this customers. Again, you don't have to be experts on the contact center team. And you don't have to be like, oh, this is Xima. You can just be like, hey, this is John. He's my contact center expert. Or anyone from our team. Because again, that's very common in the industry where you'll have specific people that do specific roles. You probably have that within your organization. Where we beat them was, it was an affordable solution. Even though you can see 35,000 for 17 agents was still better than a lot of the competitive solutions, especially the two that they were looking at. But the other key there, I recommended this to them. I'm like, 17 agents, you're hitting your busy season, it's a grilling company. I'm like, are you trying to roll all of this out at the same time? Because that's a lot. There's a lot of different projects there. And they're like, well, ideally, we don't have to. And this is what you could do with RingLogix's. I'm like, okay, let's start with just phased approach. Let's add the multi-channel. Let's add speech analytics. That's the one you really want. And so we started with that. And then after they got that project, okay, let's now start the project for workforce management. And that's when they can add those licenses on. They don't have to commit to everything up front. And so they can, again, roll out that process and those different features as it makes sense for their business. The last one I want to share, cruise planners. And this one is, again, a fascinating one because this was a customer where they were on, I forget what they were on. This was a net new logo for the partner. And we went in there, with the Xima contact center solution and Netsapiens as the UC platform. And they have, I want to say like 80 UC seats, and then a 12 agent environment. We were also come to find out when we show the demo of the UC platform the partner does, they're like, oh yeah, we're looking at this other solution somewhere else. But that partner, don't remember who it was. Hopefully it wasn't anyone on this call. They were going with the Netsapiens call center. Okay, so rightfully so, it's going to be more affordable because adding on our contact center was adding 18,000 for a year. But you don't have to be, again, that race to zero. Companies, if they see the value, they know what that will mean for their business. And in fact, during the demonstration process, they saw the value of it. They liked it. They actually extended it to another department. So it actually went from 12 to 37. So not only were they like, okay, I see the value to this. This is the right fit for us. Let's actually add it to this other team because we think they could take advantage of that as well. And so it changes the approach to selling. Instead of that race to zero, like, okay, let's just get into a, bottom frenzy feeding. Let's sell the right solution, show you how we're going to deploy this, how it's going to help your business, and that way you can grow. And then you're getting an ROI as well on that investment. Okay. And again, our team is there to help with this. We have different tools. Our team is working with the RingLogix's marketing team. We have the different tools you need, brochures, documents, key tips in selling into the different verticals. And we can roll you into that different training process, get you those resources so you have the tools to know how to sell CCaaS to your different customers. Okay. Now, some simple ways that I have found to help your current customers or even net new logos. It's all about asking the right questions. These are some questions that I like to ask when doing discovery with customers. These are my top three. Okay. One, do you have a customer service department? Don't go in there and be like, oh, tell me about your contact center. If you go in and say, tell me about your contact center, so many of your customers are going to be like, we're not a contact center. Our number one vertical is healthcare. All different types of healthcare, from hospitals down to, private little clinics. They don't consider themselves contact center, but they have some sort of customer service. They get crazy call volume. So queue callback is a phenomenal feature. Reporting and wallboards and analytics, phenomenal feature. And as they are bigger in companies, things like workforce management can really make an impact to those bigger healthcare spaces. They're just asking them about their customer service department. How has that gone? Do you ever get customer complaints? They are very focused on customer satisfaction. They're also very focused on wait times, both in person as well as on the phone. So again, omni-channel is a great option for them as well. Here's
Yeah, and
another
John,
one.
you had something in another presentation that I really loved. I don't know if you say it in this one or I'm stealing your thunder, but even like customer service, calling it customer experience, like, even on a broader scale, because yeah, a lot of people don't, see themselves as contact or call center. So I love that you would put that in another presentation that I watched before. And I love that customer experience word.
Yeah, exactly. Customer experience, customer service. I don't have it in this one, Jamie. I do have it in the next one. So we'll touch on that more. So again, good use case to come to the training on the 29th, where we focus a lot more on that customer experience and the different ways you can improve that customer experience. One way, recording calls. I did this, I admit, when I started out my career as a sales engineer 20 years ago, I'd go out there and be like, are you recording your calls? Yeah, okay. How many people do you need to record? 30. Perfect. And that's all I wrote down. Because I'm like, oh, I know how to give you call recording. Awesome. But everyone can do call recording. And it's all about improving that customer experience. It's helping your customers grow. Followed up with a question. Okay, what do you do with those recordings? Why are you recording your calls? Sometimes it is the case, well, we just need it when we need it in case there's a complaint. Okay, how often does that happen? Are you getting a lot of complaints? I don't know. Okay, well, there's a good use case for speech analytics. We can tell you that sentiment analysis because then I flip it around on them. I'm like, what if you have a bad experience and one, your agent doesn't tell you about it? Because let's be honest, they probably won't. I don't get up. I have a bad call. I don't go to my boss and be like, that demo was terrible. You'll never have a bad demo with me. I love doing it, but I'm never going to admit it. Your agents aren't going to admit if they had a bad experience. You're relying on the customer to make sure that reaches management. Then you can go back and find that recording and do something with it. Let the system let you know if there's a bad experience with that sentiment analysis. That's a good use case to sell that speech analytics. And that's why so many of those other competitors are really driving that. AI is the big buzzword in the industry right now. You're probably hearing a lot of customers talk about AI. Everyone seems to be doubling down on speech analytics because it's got the biggest use case. Not that the other AI solutions are out there, and we have some of those aren't bad. It's just the use case is a little bit smaller. But everyone that's recording calls, you have a use case for that speech analytics. I also really like workforce optimization because I hear this a lot from customers. I'm like, oh, you do recordings. What do you do with them? Oh, well, we have a process where we go and listen to agents' calls. How often are you doing that? Oh, we pick, 10 calls a week. Okay. How do you track that? When you go, how do you pick the recordings and how are you tracking it? And so often I hear, oh, we have this Excel doc that we use. Oh, you hear that. They're going to absolutely love workforce optimization. And that can differentiate your solution. Case in point had a small little environment out of Texas recently. They had 8 agents, small little environment. I asked them that question. They record calls. What do they do with it? It was that process. Oh, they were a little bit smaller. They're like, we pick 3 calls a week. And then we scored. And actually, we give the agents motivation. I think they said they're working towards an ice machine. So once they get certain points, the company's going to buy them an ice machine. They just got a popcorn machine. It absolutely motivated their agents. I showed them the workforce optimization where it can then do more automation, schedule trainings for the agents when they score poorly on it, because if the agents don't get coached up, they're going to give that same experience. And that's where that customer experience comes in. You're coaching your agents up so they're getting better. And it's using more automation to do that. Okay. If your customers are on the Netsapiens call center, a good question to ask them is, do you want to, have you ever thought about adding additional communications to customers? In the next training, I'll talk a little bit more about this, but what the research is showing year over year, voice communications is slowly shrinking. It'll never go away, but other communications continue to rise, especially SMS in business for customer experience, customer interactions. Web chat, a lot of companies like it, but they need an easy way to deploy it. That's what we do. And then everyone still emails. How do you manage that email? So many people, I got a group of people that answer those emails. Do you have any reports on it? Not really. This is a great way to add the different reporting because I just realized I never showed this. In Cradle to Grave, we're tracking all those interactions. So if I go back here, you'll notice, oh yeah, I've got those emails in there. So I can see exactly who it routed to. Oh, John had this for 25 minutes. And then he spent a whopping 15 seconds replying to it. Because that happens a lot when you see customer reports. Oh, my agent only did 10 calls today. You go and talk to them. Hey, you only had 10 calls yesterday. What happened? Oh, I was slammed with email. Now I can go back and be like, it looks like you did 2. 1 and 2. And so when agents know they're being monitored and managed to the different tasks that they want, it's not intrusive. They just know that they're being monitored and they're being managed based off of this. And so they're more efficient because they know, again, what matters to the company. But we do that same thing on all the different channels. Here is I think this is my text. Yep. So here's this is my web chat. So you have the web chat logs. Here's my SMS. You'll also have those SMS logs as well. So you can really see all those different communications on reports, on wallboards, so you can effectively manage all the different customer interactions. Okay. All right. So next steps. I first want to thank everybody for your time here today. Hopefully you found this valuable and you're excited to be able to offer this to your different customers. And it may not be the right fit for every single customer today, but for those right customers, you want to make sure they know they can grow into it when the time's right. Or some of those customers might be there today, or maybe just new deals that you come across need them. So now you have more solutions at your disposal. But this was an intro to it. There's a lot more to this, a lot more value that you can understand from the system. So 1, come to the training on the 29th. It's going to be awesome. It's going to just be a little bit more in depth. We're going to talk more about that customer experience. You can also get with Jamie and team and schedule more of a one-on-one training with your team. And I've been in channel my entire career. I understand it's hard to get everyone scheduled at the same time. So based off your schedule, let Jamie and team know. We'd be happy to get on there and do a more personalized training for you and your team. Maybe talk specific about verticals that you go after. We have information on pretty much all of them. And then engage your team at RingLogix. If you have any opportunities where you need demonstrations, quote, proposals, they're happy to help, as is our team. Again, think of us as an extension to your team. With that, any last questions that the group has? I'm not sure if we had any come in or not. Oh, it looks
We
like maybe
did,
two.
we
Oh, yeah.
did. Yeah, so we had some questions. So Jose asked a very specific question, but I'll kind of generalize it because I think it'll be something. Is Ring, I know I don't know if we are, but is Xima gonna, will they offer like a proof of concept to a customer who's interested in CCaaS?
Yes, we can elements to a POC. It depends on how they want to use it. And again, I've done this a long time. I can tell you what works and what might work. The best scenario to get a customer to adopt a POC is put it live. Let's make it live. How we like to do that POC for the team is have the customer sign an agreement with what I call an out clause. So it is like a free trial. I kind of reference it like apps. My daughter hijacks my phone all the time and she's like, oh, can I have this app? And a lot of times it'll be like free trial for 7 days, but I commit to the purchase after that 7 days upfront.
Right.
That's the best approach, is having them have that commitment, but obviously it's not going to be 7 days. We usually do like a 30-day or a 45-day period. But we want to put it in a live environment because then they get the most out of it. That has a very high success rate, like over 90%. When you follow that process, have the customer, okay, here's the pricing of it, because you want them to sign up on the pricing first, because you don't want to offer a POC and then love it. Then you give them the price and they go, oh, that's not in the budget. Okay, have them sign up on the pricing, commit to it if everything goes well, and then it's no questions asked. If they don't want to move forward, they can just cancel within that 45-day period. That is how we like to do POCs. We can do just more of a simple POC where they just want to test it. But in my experience, because there's no commitment, you're not getting the whole team engaged. They like it, but they go, you know what? Yeah, we just paused the project. And so it kind of just spends a little time. Some move forward, but a lot don't, because the reality is they're not quite committed to it and they still have their everyday job to do. And so it just kind of sits in the background from the POC. Now, if the question's more of you as a partner wanting to run a POC, absolutely, we can do that. Again, get with Jamie and team. We can get that connected to your tenant so you can use that internally and get more familiar with it.
Cool. We're getting a lot of pricing questions. So gang, I have pricing. I don't actually quite know if I'm allowed to talk about it today, since we haven't had the training call yet, but we have pricing. I know that part of the process is you will work with like a Xima cam to quote out a, what your customer needs. And then it's going to come back to RingLogix and we can help you price off that quote. So hang tight on the pricing for me. I should be able to give you exact components and dollar amounts on the next call, but it's not totally tied in the bow together just yet. So hang tight on that for me, okay? We do have actually very similar questions, John, on CRMs, right? So you had mentioned that you have the CRM integrations. Now, if one does not exist, is it something that a partner can request for Xima to develop? Or is that, I'm sure people are going to ask like, well, A, do you do it? B, what does it cost me? C, so that's kind of, there's a bunch of questions on that. Also, if there's a list, do you have a published list of CRMs that you integrate into?
We do, yeah. So I can get that over to Jamie and she can disperse that to the team, or again, feel free to reach out to myself. But keep the RingLogix's team involved. They're obviously your primary contacts. We're just now added to that offering, so you can really sell that. But to answer the questions, we do have the list and we can add additional CRMs. What we like to do in that process, it's kind of the same thing, because there's tech debt is what we'll call it. Investigative work. So we like to give estimates. Okay, here's what it's going to cost to develop it. It's not bad compared to other professional services now. Very affordable. And then we like the customer again to sign off on here's what it's going to cost before you add it. So that way we don't spend the time researching, looking at, okay, we want to first determine what APIs are available in that CRM. Not all CRMs are created equally. So I mentioned the 5 main features. They're supported in all the big ones. Some of the smaller ones, they just don't have the APIs for us to do certain things. And so we'll come back and be like, here's the different things we could do with that CRM. Does that still sound agreeable? If that the features that you want, if it is, then they execute the agreement. We go and build that. Building out that integration takes about 4 weeks.
So I think hopefully, we had, like I said, a couple people asked that. So hopefully, Ryan, that answered you. Elias, hopefully that answers that. 10DLC. So Thomas has a question on 10DLC and email regulations. Would Xima help with that since it offers the SMS and email in the platform? Also, does texting offer MMS as well?
Yeah, great question. So MMS, not as of today. So there's 2 things that are coming in Q3 that will matter to your customers. MMS is one of them, as well as more SMS campaigns where you can bulk blast out a massive list of SMS campaigns. And then as customers reply back to that, it'll distribute to the different agents. Right now, it's more of that queuing. You can send outbound SMS, but it's more of like that personal one-on-one SMS outbound text, not where you're uploading a list of hundreds.
Good stuff. And then when adding Xima, would that continue to be white labeled still?
Yes. Yep. The Xima product, everything I showed there today can also be white labeled. So it has your brand continuing across. So it does, again, feel like that single platform.
Nice. Lots of great questions. Thank you. I'm super pumped. And John, just so you know, my phone and email have been blowing up during this whole call with people messaging me this is so cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, so I love it. We do have a couple more minutes, so if you have any questions, we'll give it a few minutes. If not, I expect to see all of you on the next webinar with the training where John's going to get more into detail on and I'll have pricing. I promise I will bring my pricing component with me. I know we have it. We have our agreement. We were just checking some things out. We didn't want to overwhelm partners with all of the things Xima has to offer in a pricing sheet. So I'll make sure I have that for our next call. So awesome. Can we clone John? Yeah, John. What they want to clone you for their company? I know that is.
Well,
said, can we clone John for our company? Well, actually, so that you kind of get John free, we'll air quote it, with your Xima purchase. So yeah, John is no, you guys know Albert's never afraid to hop on a call. John's the same way. So and then besides John, like I said, you have I'm trying to get there with subject matter expert on this. I've got to get it for myself and mess around. But John has the Xima cams that are available to you as well. So yeah, like you said, I like to be involved. Let me know what you're doing. I want to get warm handoffs for you, but if we can't ever do that, the cams are willing to receive calls directly as well. So we just want to, be a part of things too. And then I don't know if I'm stealing your thunder once again, John, but Xima will also not only be helping our RingLogix's partners sell this product, they're going to be supporting it too, which is super cool, right? So the initial ticket would come into RingLogix's if there was something going on. The reason it comes to us first is just to make sure the API connection's still intact. And if not, then Xima handles all, they own their solution, right? So they are doing all the support on it too, which I think is great for you guys as partners. So let's see. Does Xima have a pre-recorded demo to show customers on the features, or will we be involved with the Xima expert each time? Good question. Is there any pre-records on how it works, John?
There are some small pre-records. It's kind of more of gauge interest. So, Elias, I would recommend if you want to just kind of gauge the interest of a customer, that's a great way to do it. If there's a specific use case, um, I personally like doing more of the personalized one-on-one demo. Again,
Demo, yeah.
to what Ryan said, I love getting on demos. My favorite thing in the world. It's kind of like my role. I get to act as a sales engineer, but I'm also just like retaining everything like a sponge. I like asking them questions. What are they doing for their business to grow? Because then I like to focus more on the solution sell, where a pre-can demo, it's going to be more of like a feature dump, which can again gauge that interest, like, oh, I wanted to learn more. Then you schedule a demo. But if you already know that option is that they want a demo, let's just do a one-on-one demo. Let's have a quick discovery call, what we know into it. But then we'll ask the customer at the front of the demo, like, tell me a little bit more about your business, ask some of those key questions, and then we just check off all their needs with how we would solve that problem.
Yeah, like I always like customizing it because sometimes
Yeah.
demo like pre-records can get a little too into the weeds, things that maybe the customer's not interested in. So like
Yeah.
asking those pre-qualifying questions and getting the details on what you're going to demonstrate usually is helpful because then it's all the things they're interested in. And
Exactly.
you look like you paid attention, right, to the customer and what they wanted
Oh, it
because you
matters.
did.
In fact, I'll just share this use case. This will be on the other training as well. Like Xima likes making doing business easy. You won't wait for quotes. We'll get everything over to the RingLogix's team like same day after we do that demo. So you're not waiting weeks for the quotes. The other thing that some of the other competitor solutions do, you have to get on like 4 calls with the customer before they even go to a demo. We can do the discovery and the demo the same time. Like, let's not overcomplicate the situation here. Customers' time is valuable just as much as our time. So let's really understand what they need, show them how we're going to solve it. Don't need to drag that out to 4 calls to get to the right people.
For sure. Well, no, well, thanks, John. We appreciate
Yeah.
you taking the time to, meet our partners and, you know, this is this is a great partnership we're going to have going on. So I'm super pumped about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I have a cam list, a map. We'll get you connected. We'll set up warm intro meetings and get things going. So, and like I said, I promise I'll have the pricing thing together by the time we meet next. 29th, 2 p.m. Eastern time. If you're not signed up, just a side note, Gabriella added the link into this chat. So click it, go get signed up for the training session, and we'll kind of go from there.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks, John. Thanks,
Appreciate it.
everybody.
Thanks
Appreciate
all.
you guys. Have a good day. Bye.